Exercise 9i is about grouping data. So we're going to group the data in what's called a frequency distribution table, and then we're going to display it in what's called a frequency histogram. You can see there's a lot of data here, and that would be a really good reason to want to group the data. So I'm going to group the numbers that are in the 40s to 40 to 49, so any numbers in the 40s. If I wanted to, I could split that into two and do 40 to 44 and 45 to 49. So 50 to 59. Now it's really important with these groups that every group is exactly the same size. They all need to be the same size. Now the class center is just the middle of these two numbers, or the average of 40 and 49. So we do 40 plus 49 divided by 2, and we get 44.5. Now, the average of 50 and 59 is going to be 54.5, 60 and 69 is 64.5, and so on, 74.5, 84.5, and 94.5. Okay, and then we just count up how many there are in each group. Now, I've already done that. In the 40s, there are 5 numbers, there are 9 numbers in the 50s, 16 numbers in the 60s, 6 in the 70s, 2 in the 80s, and 2 in the 90s. So that's our frequency distribution table. It can just be called a frequency table as well. Now, we might get asked questions like these: how many scores were 60 or more? So 60 or more is all of these numbers here. So 16 plus 6 plus 2 plus 2, and that equals 26. What percentage of scores were under 60? Well, the ones under 60 are this lot here. So 5 plus the 9 over 40. So that's 14 over 40. To make it a percentage, we'll multiply it by 100. So times 100. So that is 35%. Okay, let's have a look at our histogram. So I've already drawn this up for you to a certain extent. Now, when you're drawing one of these, you need to make sure that these numbers go up to the highest of these. So we need it to go up to 16. And that's our frequency, so we'll just put an F there for frequency. For your horizontal axis, you need to count how many groups we've got. We have 6 groups. Add 1 to that and draw a line that's 7 centimeters long. I'm using a grid book, so each one of these is actually a little more than half a centimeter, but if you've got a half centimeter grid book, it works really nicely. But no matter what, whatever squares you've got, if you want 7 centimeters, then do 14 squares. Now, our first column has to go up to 5. So 5 is there. And go 1 whole centimeter wide, or 2 squares in a group. So that's our first column. Our second one goes up to 9. So come across a whole centimeter and go up to 9. 1 centimeter back. Okay, so our next one goes up to 16, so that's all the way up to there. That's our biggest column. Notice I haven't written any numbers on my x-axis yet. I always write those numbers at the end because it's really easy to write them in the wrong place, and we want them right under the center of each column. So we've got 6, 2, 2. So 6 is there, 2 and 2 are there. Join those up. And that is our frequency histogram. Now, your textbook doesn't talk about it, but you can also draw what they call a frequency polygon. I'm going to add it on. It goes to the center. You don't need to worry about this too much. But it's basically a line graph over top of our histogram. And that's the reason that we needed the half centimeter at each end. That's why we did 7 centimeters and not 6 centimeters, because we wanted half a centimeter at each end. Label your axes. So that is our class center that we're actually going to write on there. Class center. So our first class center was 44.5, 54.5, 64.5, like that. And I write those under that little mark there that I've marked. So 44.5, 54.5, 64.5, oops, 74.5, 84.5, and 94.5. And that's our frequency histogram.